Hello and welcome to the Purpose Pursuit podcast with me, Hannah Miller. And this is a very special part 2 episode with my son Jude. Well, it's part two. So I recorded a episode with Jude before he went on his gap year travels, and it was one of the absolute favourites that I've ever done. People loved it. So Jude and I said we would revisit it and talk together, but it was quite a long conversation, so we've split it into 2 parts. You can pick up here, but if you haven't listened to it, you might want to go back and listen to the previous part with Jude and have a listen to that. But we put it into 2 parts so that you aren't having too long an episode in one go. Again, just to mention, it was really stormy and rainy when we recorded this episode, and you might hear a little bit of rain sound in the background, and we've done our best to get rid of it, but just to say there is a bit of rain noise in the episode. But Jude has got so much to say. It's full of beautiful moments and wonderful reflections, and I would so encourage you to have a listen to this episode, and I hope you really enjoy it. Let's come back to friendships a minute. You've talked a lot about the deep friendships you've made, and obviously lots of people talk about how when they went to uni, that was when they found some of those deep friendships. Tell us a bit about the friendships you've had, and how has that piece of wisdom that people give affected you in how you feel about the friendships? Because this year has been a real depth of friendship year for you, hasn't it? Like you've got some great school friends and a couple that you're still very much in touch with. But this year's really been formational in that way.
I think I felt so blessed in the past few weeks while I've reflected on the year. Like this first few months, like there's like 7 of us from our church that were all in a similar position, and just being able to spend so much time with them, just got so close with them, and like experienced friendship in a really new and beautiful way. And then when I went away it was some like the most incredible community that I think I've ever been part of, in terms of it was 6 weeks just together, not like the whole time. And you just, when you invest that much time into different people, and when we had a culture of just like radical like vulnerability and honesty, and so you just get to know people so quickly. And like these people that I'd known for a week were people that I was close with, and people I'd been friends with for years and years. I just feel really blessed, but also B, I'm like aware that I'm not necessarily gonna have that at university. At least initially, I'm not gonna have that for a while, because of the nature of what I was, the time that I've had and the course that I did, the nature of just being together for that long, 24/7, and the conversations that were had, and those kind of things. I think, that will be difficult to
replicate.
But also, I'm also not losing those friends just because I'm not in close proximity to all of them. I know that those people will be part of my life going forward. Obviously, it requires effort on both sides to maintain that. But I think, like I even found the other day, like the guys that I did Soul Edge with, some of them I hadn't seen in 6-7 months, and we were all together for the weekend a few weekends back, and genuinely within 5 minutes it was just as it was. And I think once you have that, once you get to know someone as closely as we had, and like the experiences that we'd had together, the things that we journeyed through together, that it becomes like family. Like when you come back to family, you don't have to manara a bit, or you just straight back into it.
It's really true.
And that was we were all sitting there as lads, and we were just like, this is just so beautiful, and so countercultural, like for lads as well, to be with friends with people that are speaking life into each other, and calling out things that are good in each other, and there's just such security there, which I've not had. I have had at points, but I've not had in the same way that I've had this year, with people where I can also challenge them on things that they're not necessarily, they've got to work on, and vice versa. There's such a security in our friendships that we know that that's come from a place of love, and
family.
And that then when they're saying things to me that are maybe a bit more critical or challenging, they're not doing that to bring me down at all, but it's also it's because they love me and they want to see me grow. So having that, and then having that with my home friends as well. Yeah, something I'm so grateful for. And also I'm still excited for that going forward, because I'm in Leeds for the next 3 years, but who knows where I'll be after that. I may end up in the same city as one or two of them, or and also, like, I'm sure there'll be people at uni that I'll have this with, and because I now have an expectation of what friendship can look like, I want to.
Well, you can be the person who helps those kind of friendships happen.
Exactly.
And, I haven't had your experience of having been on a gap year like that and spent, well, I'm married to your dad and I've spent a lot of time with him in the last 26 years. But in terms of friendships, I think the reason people say what they say about uni is because you do get thrown into making this work together and you live together and you do spend more time with each other. And there is then the possibility of more quickly getting to a place. That's kind of what happened with those friends. You got there quicker because of the amount of time you spent and the choices you made.
Yeah.
So if
but it wasn't just time; it was the fact that
we chose to be vulnerable.
We chose to have, this difficult conversation. We chose to open ourselves up. When you like open yourself up, and it's like almost a bit dangerous because someone could in that moment choose to bring you down.
Speak up a bit because it's raining.
Yeah, when you open up, and then in that moment that. The people you're opening up with have the chance to, bring you down or like build you up.
Trust.
Trust basically. And so, like we all decided to open up, and then we all met with love, which just meant,
And I'm confident that you won't need to ever replace these people; that they'll stay in your life. But you will make more. They will. I recently, this because I told you I recently saw my old uni friends, and we haven't seen one of those girls. I've not seen for a long time because she lives overseas. And at the end of that, we did also pick up where we left off. Yeah. And when we left each other, we the four of us stood together and had this like little group huddle. And it was all I can say to you as an older person, it was this precious moment of we are still those 18-year-olds that live together. Yeah. And we were sharing with each other some of the things that have happened. One of the girls has had a really sudden bereavement. And in the time since I'd last seen her, she'd also lost her brother and been through so much. And we just picked up each other and we were like, we're still those, we remind each other of that person we were in that season. So I want to encourage you that you can collect more people, and it's down to you that you stay in touch with them and that things.
Also, I'm very lucky because my best friend Eli is also, he's going to be in
Leeds
with me. So I'm saying this, I'm more just saying the number of people that I'll have this with.
I know. So you've just given us a spoiler that you're going to Leeds.
I'm going to Leeds.
You are going to Leeds. And we got there in the end.
We did.
So can we talk about that a little minute?
I feel I've been on a broken record about this for a while.
University decision. Spoiler for the podcast is he's going to Leeds. And I will also say it was hard for you to make a decision.
It was.
Now that you have made it,
I think I've probably been the most. I would actually be quite confident in saying that I've probably been like one of the most difficult UCAS applicants of all time.
I definitely think so. I think that your name will have caused a special light to have gone on in the UCAS offices saying, alert, it's Jude Miller again, UCAS. Don't talk to me.
They've still had me.
They have. They were. Can we just shout out to UCAS?
Yeah.
They're brilliant.
They are.
They've been brilliant.
They were brilliant. But yeah, I was like the last person on nearly every deadline. Like, genuinely, there's a moment when I was in the queue for Drake with Levi, and it was like the last deadline.
I know it was. I was on the phone.
I know. Well, I'm saying to.
Okay.
Obviously, and it was
1 minute to 6.
1 minute to 6 was the deadline, and if I didn't choose a uni at that point, then all my offers were gone. It was like, and I was like on the phone like, Durham, no, Nottingham, no, Leeds, no,
it was
Durham,
awful.
And I was just like, and then chose one, and then went back on it the day after. And
you phoned them up and you went, I don't think that's what I want to do. And they said, you've got 24 hours. Yeah. So you took the full 24 hours.
And then the last 30 secones of that next day, I then changed it back.
Gosh.
And then it got to clearing and I changed again. And then and then after clearing, I was like, I've just made a mistake. I've changed again. But, which is really annoying because...
And also to say, you were a person with 4 unconditional offers and we still didn't decide till after clearing.
It's ridiculous.
On your original offers.
It is ridiculous.
You played that system like nobody I've ever known.
It's annoying though because that was, I don't know if I mentioned on the last podcast, but like decision making was something that I wanted to grow in this year. And I think I genuinely, it sounds ridiculous saying it, but I genuinely have improved in that. I think, but with like, more smaller minor decisions. But I think it's just because I understood the gravitas of this decision and the like life altering nature of, if I was to go to Durham or Nottingham or Leeds or Loughborough, like they would all, the course of my life would look different.
Yes.
You know? My friendships with people would look different, or
but you did have a little bit of a breakthrough, I think, that helped you make a decision, because all of that remains true.
Yeah.
That all of those things,
yeah.
You know, you've gone down a course path now.
Yeah.
Cracking your knuckles for the sake of the podcast. You have now made a decision, and you know certain choices are now eliminated. Yeah. But you did have a bit of a breakthrough.
I think, coming to terms with the fact that I think like I said, touched on earlier about, you know, almost grieving this year.
Yeah, letting it go.
I think I was almost like, if I make a decision, then I'm, you know, saying goodbye to all that. But in reality, I have to say goodbye. That's all over anyway. If I don't go to uni, it's not going to be the same anyway, because all these people are going to uni as well. So
they won't be here.
It's not. I can't replicate this year, and me not making a decision is still a decision that will have, you know, repercussions. And so
I wonder where you might have heard that before.
Yeah, the wisdom of my mother and dad. Yeah, and I think Leeds. I'm not going to touch on this. It's a bit boring to say why I chose it, but I just ended up just backing that. And when I made the decision the other day, I was like, I'm actually just going to make a choice to choose like positive thoughts about it, because every time I would choose another one, I would think about the negative things.
All the reasons why you've
and then when I'd then choose the other one, I'd also think about the negative things for that. I would never think. I was always glass half empty rather than half full. And so I was actually like, I'm going to make an active choice to be like, choose like peace about this.
Yeah.
And choose, you know, excitement over this. And, you know, if I had when I had thoughts the other day, I was like, I feel like I've made the wrong decision. I was like, you know.
You batted it off.
I batted them away.
Brilliant.
I was like, I'm just going to choose to have, you know, positivity over this decision, because it's not like the right decision. I don't think there was a right decision, but it was.
Neither did we.
It was a right decision. It wasn't the one, but it is like a right decision. You know, it's like one of many right decisions.
And watching you go through that was really hard. It was agonising for you. It was actually agonising for me and agonising for us all. But I tried to help you understand that my heart was breaking for you, because I just wanted. I could see that things would be better the other side of it, and you were like, well, I just can't get to the other side of it. And you're there now, and you are like a different person. You've done some processing, and I could just instantly see a difference.
I think I never fully understood what people meant when they spoke about anxiety before, and I'd not necessarily experienced that. And I'm not saying I've got anxiety, but I definitely experienced what that can look like in those few weeks. Even while we're on holiday, it was so consuming on my mind.
Towards
to the point
the
I was
end,
waking up in the night thinking about it, morning, evening, throughout it all. It was just on my mind and causing me so much stress, and was just taking up too much space in my mind.
But the thing with all of that,
it's really difficult, because I was like, I am the one that's the only way of getting through this is on me. It's like, this is all on me. But then I was like, I just can't make a decision. I was like, I have no idea what to do.
And it was probably one of the biggest decisions that have a longer term consequence, that you were like, this decision comes down to me. And also you had been offered places from everybody, so it wasn't a case
they were all positive as well. It wasn't like any was like, I'm going to hate it here. I was like, I could see myself for all of these. They've all got different.
You were in a really great position, which made it incredibly difficult, which was, for me and your dad kept saying, we think this is the learning in it, that you have got to back yourself, you've got to choose, you've got to live out what you decide, because it will be great and it will be tough, but so will all of them. And it's this little bit of perfectionist streak in you, isn't it, that was almost coming out in that decision making, that's kind of the monkey on your shoulder to handle in all the different guises that comes up. Is doing something is genuinely nearly always better than perfection. There are some situations where perfection is the most important, like if you're going to be an artist perhaps, or if you're going to be a Michelin star chef. But I think in most situations, getting something going and doing it is better than perfection. And what is perfection? Does it even exist in human form? Does it even exist in any decision? And letting go of that, and just the difference in you. I hope you can remember the way you now feel when you're next facing the decision.
But I worry that I've not necessarily.
Don't worry about it.
Practically learn anything to make that the decision better.
But I think you have. I think you've
have.
just articulated it. You've articulated what the problem was, why it was difficult, and what you did to get there, because you did get there in the end. I didn't make a decision for you. I jolly well would have liked to have done at several points.
I would have liked to.
I know you would, but that was not the right thing to do. So we're going to be saying goodbye for uni.
Very soon.
Really, and when this goes out, you'll have gone. So
when will this go out?
Later on, because we always record in advance. So you will have already gone. I'll be able to tell people how you're actually doing. Yeah. I've just done that to stop you tapping on the table. But do you feel ready?
That's my mafia controlling mom there.
Yeah, it is. I'm a mafia mom. Do you feel ready?
I think so.
Are you practically ready?
No, that's the only thing that I'm not. I was expecting on my travels to have to learn, to hone my skills, my cooking skills, and
and why didn't you?
Well, because everything's just so cheap. You eat out breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's like almost cheaper to do that.
Okay.
And so, in that regard, I'm not ready, but I think I'm.
Well, you'll get there. You'll learn.
I'm in other areas. I am ready. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be new and exciting, but also difficult at points.
And what are you going to do about you were talking last night with Levi about remembering some of your attitude to your A levels, and you were like, flipped. "Oh my God, that was a dark season. It was a dark period, wasn't it?" You probably needed a gap year after GCSEs because you were COVID period and it had been difficult. And
I don't think there's necessarily an excuse. I think I was just a bit of a mess. But
okay, so you were. Let's just admit that. And you were like, "Oh, I got into these really bad habits of not doing any work, sleeping the minute you got home from school, not being able to get up in the morning, staying up really late at night." Yeah. Me saying to you, do you remember I used to say to you nearly every day, "Can you please take your suit off?" And you'd be like, "I will in a minute." And you were, "Oh my, it doesn't matter. It's life." Do you know, my A-levels were quite a dark period. Nanny won't remember because she obviously can't remember anything anymore, but I would often get back into bed. I would often go and sleep things off. I didn't find it an easy period. I was having a lot of fun and I was also having a lot of really dark moments too. Yeah. And I was in a much better place by uni too. Yeah. So you were
married as well.
Well, not at uni, but later. But
second
year. Yeah, okay, end of. Third year. But that's not the point. The point I'm making is things can really turn around and you are in a completely different place and you are far more mature than I was at your age in most ways.
I'm not sure about that.
I think you are. But what do you do to help yourself not get there again? Like when you go to uni? Or do you just think that's just not me anymore?
I actually don't think that is necessarily. I mean, I still can have the potential for those kind of patterns of laziness and rotting or avoidance of things. I think I was just coping. That was my way of coping, was sleeping and avoiding. But I think
you did.
I've realised that
once
I have I think when I've not necessarily got something weighing on my mind, I think I feel way more free to be productive. And I think I've got better at not allowing things to have as much control over my mind, or sorting things out so they don't have as much control on my mind. Even things like losing things. I mean, it still just consume me and my thoughts, but even those kind of things, I've got better at just letting those things go. And,
okay.
So I just don't think that is necessarily me as much. And also, there's people that I'm going to be at uni with, that I'll be accountable with, that will, help me. And
they will.
And they'll keep me away from that kind of place.
Tell everyone what you're studying.
Philosophy and politics.
Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be so weird,
learning again in a formal setting.
And being in a lecture room.
And having to write essays and all of that.
But no, I'm looking forward to that.
I think you're ready for it. You're really ready for it. So 2 last questions from me. First one, if there is a younger person listening to this and they're, what's one thing that you would encourage them to do, or from what you've learned about life, what would you encourage them to do?
Oh, that's pressure.
Just one thing, not the thing, a thing.
Well, I mean, solitude that I mentioned earlier, I think that's for everyone. But
try solitude.
I think just the friendship stuff. There's people out there that want to have depth of friendship with people, and sometimes it just requires a bit, like it requires effort, doesn't it? And trust and like open yourself up to people.
Let them in.
Let them challenge you and help you grow. Call out the good things in other people. Like it's so countercultural, but so positive and so good, and like it's such a force for good on people. And like actually make that active choice in a culture where even things like banter and things like that. I think there's maybe a place for that sometimes, but when there's nothing going the other way, like I just don't think it's good. And so be that person that is going the other way, like saying, "Oh, that's really like you're really good at that," or "I love this about you," or "I love when you do this." Those kind of things. I think that's, especially guys, I feel like it comes less naturally to guys, but also girls do that as well. Say what's good about people. And pursue depth of friendship. Fight for it. Fight for friendship.
And if you are a parent of someone of your age, what's one of the things that you wish parents understood or could do to help that young person? I'm not going to take it as a criticism. It's okay.
I don't know. Probably just sometimes just also
chill out.
Just sit and listen. To let someone. Sometimes I find even just talking at you for a bit is good for me processing things, or I don't really know.
No, that's really good.
I probably have to think about that a bit.
That is a good question, but that's a good answer, because I think a lot of time what parents
don't always try and give solutions.
Yeah.
Actually,
well, we always want to do that. Just listen.
There's a place for that, but sometimes there's a place for just listening.
There is,
and letting your child grow.
I'm trying to do better at that, and I have tried to do better at that. But I think what parents want to do is take away pain. That's why we do it, because we can't bear it. We know you have to take the bumpy path, but if you asked a parent, they'd always want you to have the straight path. We know that when you don't get the GCSE you want, or the this that you want, or the job that you want, actually we all know that loads of growth comes through that, but no parent actually wants that for their child. So we're trying to absorb it and take it away. But I am trying with that, and I will continue to try and just listen better when you are dealing with your stuff. Thank you, Jude. Thank you so much for today. It's been amazing to have you back. Maybe you'll come back again.
Yeah, next year.
The next Chronicles of
More
Jude.
Tassies.
Yeah, no, maybe.
Probably not. Maybe.
Bye-bye.